intensive practice period to wear down.
Okay, and so before we did not accept people to enter in the practice period unless you participated, actively participated, because we thought the container that we made will be broken. But after all these years, the container cannot be broken. Okay, that was just an idea. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I want to welcome people from afar. Rabbi Gigi from London. There was Shogun, Japan. Giono from Canada. Let's see, Pankio from Poland. And the people from online, from afar, from Cambridge. Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Shoshin Brynjar Kristinsson, and for those who are new here, I am the Jakusho or head student during this practice period, and this talk is the final talk. A kind of continues a little bit what we have been speaking about. So I'm sorry if you seem a bit lost in what I say, but that's actually very usual in Zen to be lost in Dharma talks, or when we are speaking about Zen. I did choose a theme for Anko. And yesterday and in the talk before that, I tried to share my understanding of it. And I wrote it out today in words that I think explain it simply. I hope you agree. So the theme is stop searching outside of yourselves, let go, turn the light inward and return the illumination. All concepts will drop away, will drop off, and you experience your life directly. For this talk, because I had a talk yesterday, I didn't have much time to prepare. So this is kind of what I came up with during today's work practice after I cleaned the toilets, which is, has been my job. Been very intimate with the toilets. 3 weeks. And I thought I would talk about light. Because of course in the theme it says turn the light inward and return the illumination. So I'm still close to the theme. In a sutra it says awakening is light, the great light itself. And I've been kind of interested in what this light could be, and I'm not sure, but maybe I will share my understanding. And I came across this book, and I recommended it for the Anko, and it's by Kalagiri. Its name is The Light That Shines Through Infinity, and I think it talks about light in interesting way. So I'll read a few paragraphs. Buddha's teaching constantly tells us how sublime human life is and how great our human capacity is. In Buddhism, this great capacity is called light. Each and every one of us has this light. When you look at your life and you see how selfish and egoistic human beings are, you don't believe you have great sublime capacity. But you don't discover your great capacity by evaluating and judging your human value. If you are thinking in that way, you have already shut yourself off from that light. And then he goes on, you have a sublime capacity to understand your life. That capacity is called light, but it is completely beyond any intellectual understanding of what your human capacity is. Beyond your human speculation, you are already great, because whatever you may do, wherever you may be, light is working with you. This is called the light of the self. And this is in a chapter, this is titled Make of Yourself a Light. Shakyamuni Buddha gave one of his most famous teachings just before he passed away. Speaking to his disciple Ananda, who was very confused about losing his teacher, Buddha said, make the Dharma your light, rely upon it, do not depend on any other thing. Make of yourself a light, rely upon it, do not depend on anyone else. In Buddhism, we understand the term Buddha as the original energy of life. The term Dharma is understood as truth, the ultimate principle of existence. But this principle is not an abstract idea, it is something real. Dharma as real truth is the functioning of the Buddha way. The original energy of life constantly flows and unfolds as all the forms of everyday life. It means the form of your own life is identical with original energy. In other words, truth is not in us, truth is not on us, truth is not with us, truth is us, truth is you, truth is your real self. Depending on that self is depending on the Dharma. So in Buddhism, we practice a way of life based on the fact that truth is already alive in our lives and we can depend on it. But watch out, depending on yourself doesn't mean you reject other people and do things your own way. It means you touch the core of your life and discover a life worth living. If you depend on Dharma, pure energy will arise and appear in your everyday life. It will illuminate your life because the original energy of Buddha is alive within you. That energy gives forth its own light, shining from your whole body, which others can see. So relax your frontal lobe, calm your mind, and practice dwelling peacefully in the Dharma that is working deep in your own life. Okay, one more from this book. Light is the original nature of your life. Everyone has that light. It is the core of your personality that Buddhism is always talking about. But it's very difficult to know what it is because light is nothing but energy, motion, or dynamic functioning. Your conscious mind can never pick up anything in particular. If you try to conceptualize it, your original nature is dark and dim for you because you can't still see it in that way. Still, even though it cannot be conceptualized, it can be displayed because light is always functioning in your life. You can give play to it in every aspect of your life. So if you see something wonderful, don't get stuck. accept it, experience it, and then keep your mouth shut. Your experience will never disappear. It stays with your life and penetrates your life. It is not necessary to attach to it. Let it go. Did you get it? Translate. Okay, so light as energy is something that I kind of find interesting, and and we usually spend a lot of energy searching outside of ourselves, as we are conditioned to do by culture and society. We are told to create our own reality, that we create our own destiny, that we create our own opportunities and our own happiness. And that is kind of what we are taught in the Western part of the world. But in traditional Eastern way of thinking, this is turned around. And instead of us going about creating everything, we kind of receive it. And it's not that we don't do anything, it's more that that we see a bigger picture, that we involve, it's not just us doing it, it's the whole universe doing it with us. And there is a quote in Dogen's Genjo Koan that explains it beautifully. To carry yourself forward and experience the myriad things is delusion. That myriad things come forth and experience themselves is awakening. There we also find another quote. To study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be actualized by myriad things. Your body and mind, as well as the bodies and minds of others, drop away. No trace of enlightenment remains, and this no trace continues endlessly. So when we forget ourselves, we are actualized by myriad things. And I thought about, I'm not sure how it is here in the US, but when I was young, in every home in Iceland there was a statue by Austin Rodin called Thinker. Do you recognize it? It's kind of a Western guy trying to think through everything, sitting like this, really struggling to figure things out. And then I compare it to somebody sitting Sikatasa, where we are just upright. Just a beautiful picture of Rosie and Mind Sky, just sitting so calm, probably in deep samadhi. But it's not that in this shikantasa or this way that we are being passive or careless, but to realize that we are created with conditions as they arise in the universe. And it's not that we are totally will-less, but we realize that we don't control everything. So yesterday, I was talking about that when we are sitting upright and are beyond thinking, which is just sitting with our clear awareness, and I was talking about mind sky, that when mind and sky have emerged, so that the small mind has merged with the big sky and is clear and bright, and that state is called samadhi, or in Japanese it's G-U samai. And one explanation of it is that it's self-receiving and employing samadhi. So GU would translate as self-receiving and employing samadhi. G means self, Ju means to receive or accept, and U means to work or function. So it's receiving self and simultaneously it's putting it to work or to receive energy and actualize it, maybe. We could also say self-receiving and using or transmitting. So I thought it was maybe interesting to talk about this receiving light and transmitting it, which is basically what Jakusho is about. It's turning light inwardly and then return it. So when we are doing, and this is something I also talked about yesterday, when we are doing something or not doing with awakened mind of awareness beyond all dualities, it can also be called to just do it, to do it 100%, or do it through and through. Then it, when it becomes how we do things more than what we do. And then I think it's important I think this point is very important. It's how we embody this awareness or how we express it, and ultimately how we become it. To me, this is one of the most important teachings of this practice or training. We do everything with awareness so that we can act with wisdom and compassion. And maybe it is something that doesn't get enough attention because we focus too much on the meditation side. So how we do things, how we sit upright, facing the wall, how we stand up, how we attend to a place of practice. And before that, it's how we arrive in time, how we arrange our shoes outside of the center, how we enter the center, how we walk across the meditation hall, how we sit down. And actually everything in form in this practice helps us to cultivate this awareness. And it's not that the forms are strict or mundane, but that they are here to awaken us to the moment and to our lives as they are. And we also see how everything here at Gentoji, or Sonoma Mountain Zen Center, how everything around us and here in the center invite us to do things with awareness. And it's not to be meticulous, but to awaken us. And I remembered a sentence from the foreword to Tolkien's Pure Standards for the Zen Community, which is a book I saw that you are reading in the fall circle, reading circle, or study circle. The forwards are by Eiko Narasaki Roshi. And I'll read a little bit from this forward. With everything we encounter, without separating self and others, become one with that thing, with your whole body and mind, dealing with it most thoroughly. Token Senju called this Jitsuyu Samai. This Jitsuyu Samai is the criterion of the correctly transmitted Buddha way. The Shingi, or the Pure Standards, accurately show us how to carry out fully Jitsuyu Samai with a body and mind throughout all the activities of monastic life, including Sesshin and Kinhin, walking meditation, and so on. Since all of our activities within the 24 hours are practice of the Buddha way, embodying this Jitsuyu Samai, that is the criterion of the Buddha way, is truly difficult and is the highest priority. So to live based on Shingi is extremely important. And then he kind of takes together a statement by Gikai that confirms that the core of Dogen Zenji's Buddha Dharma is dignified manner is Buddha Dharma, decorum is the essential teaching. This is the sentence that stayed with me. Dignified manner is Buddha Dharma, decorum is the essential teaching. So it's kind of how this practice teaches us through cultivating awareness, and then how we embody and express it. In how we uphold ourselves and how we do things with awareness. And I really think that in this kind of training and in this kind of a setting, when we let go of our habits and cultivate our awareness, something special starts to develop. And I think it's for us to figure out how we can take it with us into our everyday lives.
In the Ankavatara Sutra, Sutra is like realized teaching. It's the universe. So it includes everything. Nothing is left out. Nothing is left out. Delusion is included. So Lanka, it's from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, Sri is sacred. Lanka is hard to get. This is very important for us to know because we're trying to get something. It's outside of yourself. And you can't get it because it's here. Make sense? So you can't get it. So the teaching is basically uh, to the conditioned self, which we grew up with, like your name, has to be take a step down a little bit. So the training is to exhaust it, so it's step down so you don't hold on to who you think you are, because you're not. In Zen, it says, whatever you think you are not. And that's already scary. Then who are you? Right? So often you would tell that to an audience, because that's scary. It's frightening. But eventually you have to do that in order to realize who you are and live in this world the way it is, because you've changed. So it's the more conditioning and culture tradition schooling that we have, the more lock we become. Because what he's talking about is echo-hensho. Uh, the light, actually Christianity has the word light also. And before, I didn't think that Buddhism had the word light. It has the word light. It's just instead of turning your light out, you can just say focus your awareness outside, which you do all the time. This time you turn the light this way. So that's a big difference already to the mind source. What's the life of a thought? It appears, duration, cessation. It can be very short, be very long. We're going to the mind source, which makes up all this thinking that's going on in here. It doesn't, sometimes it feels good, sometimes it doesn't feel good. That's dualism. So, what do I want to say? Um, I want to say there was a beautiful analogy, metaphor in Lankavatara Sutra. It's like you have a gem, priceless gem, a jewel, but it's wrapped up in soil, filthy cloth. Everyone has this gem, but it's wrapped up in your greed, anger, and ignorance, so you can't reach it. And so the practice of intense practice of long years of sitting starts dissolving that cloth. The cloth is the conditions. In fact, it's like you could say the eight consciousness. This is a little bit like Buddhist psychology, but much older than psychology. Okay? So this is a little book, Rindo Fujimoto Roshi. It's probably unprinted. It's so old. When I first got this, oh, Jean Ross, I mentioned Jean often, and she's one of the first of us to go to Japan. And maybe we had practiced as a very small group with Suzuki Roshi for maybe 5 years so long. And then we sent her off to Japan. Really, we none of us hadn't even traveled. We don't know how far Japan was. Nothing. And of course, Suzuki didn't say anything, so even toilet paper, you should bring your own. Just little things like that that are the culture so different. And even when we went, our family went to Japan, and I'm Asian, but when I got to the airport, San Francisco International Airport, I saw the Japanese stand all in a row. Wow, I said, I'm going to a foreign country. It was very intimidating. You don't know the customs, you don't know what to do, and you make mistake after mistake after mistake. But that's learning. What do they say about a Zen master life? One mistake after another mistake. You made all of it. So that's good. And you fail. Oh, I failed. I failed my driving test. The company is complete failure. You have to go back. See, you one mistake after another. Anyway, it's not bad. Every time you think you're not going to make it, you made another mistake. Okay, so anyway, in the back of the book, it has something about um, how we operate, and there's like eight consciousness, and the first five is your senses, like consciousness of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touch. And then there's a mentality, mental sense. And then there's discrimination, This is one. Discrimination. Suzuki, DT Suzuki says memory. Memory, it's kind of interesting. Memory could be used as discrimination because those memories or the ideas we have way in the past, that they affect us if they're not resolved or dissolved. Okay? And then after that, alaya vijnana. So this reality is that everything you have done in your life, uh, it produces a little seed, and it goes into this repository consciousness, and it has all the seeds that you did, the good things, the bad things, even the neutral things. And in some time, this is the idea, but actually it's a reality, because in some time those seeds will come up in the right condition, whether they're good, bad, or neutral. But every thing we talk about is an opposite, and it's actually in the Buddha Dharma. It's called Tathagata Dharma. The Buddha's womb is the same as the repository consciousness. They're opposites, and Tathagata um, is another name for Buddha. Means coming. It means coming and going, but that's the relative sense. Thus cometh, or suchness cometh, suchness goes. It's completely different. It's ultimate reality comes and goes. Tathagata, the garba is the womb, not the heart, not the brain, but the womb, the essence, and that's where the repository consciousness, through the practice of sadhana, it dissolves into the Tathagata garba. Okay? So what happens is that uh, the five senses, as you continue to practice asana, and you have some insight. Actually, you have the insight already, but you haven't realized. So teachers need to go out, or you are yet to awaken from it. You have it already. The Buddha Dharma states it over and over and over again. So you don't have to look out, you look in. Okay? So these 8 consciousnesses turns into, you could say the 5 senses turns into your practical wisdom. They all turn to wisdom. And so in your daily life, study yourself. Notice what you do, how you walk, how you stand, how you sit, how you complain, how you pick up the glass, how quick you are. I remember Charlotte Selber, who was a German teacher from Europe. She brought over sensory awareness. That was in the early 60s. And she mentions the Kwong-roshi. So students, we were pretty young and we were all pretty stiff, out of touch with feelings because we don't know anything about formality or training. But she taught us to, it's sensory awareness, become aware of your body, because you take your body wherever you go, or it takes you if you don't understand the body. And there was one, she didn't call it an exercise, but there was one practice that we did. She gave you a ball, and you were to throw it and catch it with your other hand, with your eyes open. Okay? Pretty good. Everybody was really successful. And now she said, close your eyes. And then most of the people were still, that's not control. Conditioning they were. Now she says, even though your eyes are closed or open, it doesn't matter, drop the ball. She wants you to feel that because everything we do is perfect. Drop the ball and see what that feeling is. You know, that's what she did with us. But anyway, the five senses, someday or during today, when you reach for something, don't do it quickly. Just reach for it and feel with the hand. Yeah, my hand. It's your hand, it's my hand. Just, yeah, and actually touch what you're reaching for. Because there's a life in the glass, there's a life in the hand. Everything, it's not an object, okay? So that's the five senses. Even how we walk in the Zen, boom, 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 walk off the floor. Our practice, our training and practice should inspire each other. You know? So like you go outside, it's hot, and it's been really hot. So someone just lies down on the ground. That's not, I mean, everyone wants to do that, but that's not inspiring. Okay? You do that in your room. In the early days when the San Francisco Zen Center bought the place on K Street, and when it's hot, all the students came out, they just laid down on the steps. You can't do that. You know, you can go up to the top of the building, and no one can see. If you affect your Zen center or a temple, you affect the people outside, you affect each other. So whatever we do, we affect each other. Remember that. Okay, so that was the five senses, and then there's three more left. The teaching wisdom, or the teaching, the mentality turns into, or transforms into uh, wisdom. Your conditioned intellect transforms to wisdom. And I just read the word prajna means wisdom. And the meaning of prajna, that's the deepest wisdom or knowledge you could have. But the real meaning of prajna is before wisdom. Isn't that great? Because now we have a meaning of what wisdom is, what's before, or even after. But before you think. So Eko Hensho, it means basically before, it's prior to thinking, prior to discriminating, prior to expecting, prior to knowledge. Prior. That is the jewel that's wrapped up in this soil cloth. You need to discover what you really are. Okay, and then the discrimination turns into, of course, compassion. And finally, the repository consciousness turns into the great round mirror. And that's a wonderful picture, the great round mirror. And when Jose and I went to Japan, we had a chance to go to, what was the name of the temple?
Ise Shrine.
The Ise Shrine. And we had heard there was in the temple there's a great round mirror. And I heard this is real. And I also had heard that there's nothing else in the room except the great round mirror. And so, and thousands of people go there. We asked the people that work there or some of the guys or even the people, you know, where this certain inner sanctum, it's an inner sanctum, and no one knew what. But anyway, we finally found it, and we couldn't go in because we didn't have permission from the emperor. Okay, so but we almost got it. Something happened. But anyway, we were not supposed to go in. Well, actually, we weren't supposed to go in because there was thousands of tourists in front of taking pictures of Gabby and talking. All of a sudden, they all left, and I didn't know what happened. I think it's a tourist bus, right? Okay, and we were in the front, and there was a big like a toy cave in the front with a real thick, like a rug, a huge curtain in front before you can enter. And I realized there's so much energy in the sanctum. Authenticity of it, if that curtain moved, if there was no wind, the great round mirror is still active. So when you go to when you go travel somewhere, you should see the real things, not what the tourists see, but you should see the authenticity of the spirit is alive. It was really moving. Anyway, that's a great round mirror. Okay, so yeah, I like that metaphor about in a filthy cloth is in that is wrapped a jewel, a gem. It's not it's not just true for Zen people. It's true for every human being is endowed with this jewel, and you're carrying it around. So why not find out what it is, so you can live a complete life, be happy. I mean, even if you have cancer, or when you're gonna die, or when you become a father, you have to be really happy and share that happiness with everybody. Okay? All right. Is it good?
Yeah, your part at least.
No. Thank you.